12 gunshots. That's what it took for a father to end the life of the teenage boy he once called his son. 12 shots fired inside a suburban bedroom in Columbus, Ohio. 12 chances to stop. 12 times the trigger was pulled anyway. And here's the question that still haunts everyone who learns about this case. What kind of betrayal is so deep that it can turn years of love into a murder scene inside your own home? Because this wasn't a robbery. This wasn't gang violence. This wasn't some random act of rage on the streets. This happened in a place that was supposed to be safe, a place where trust once lived. And what happened inside that house shook an entire city. If you're drawn to real cases that expose the darkest corners of human behavior, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to True Crime Files TV, and share this story right now. Because what you're about to hear is one of those cases that changes how you see family forever. And as you listen, drop your city in the comments. We see the True Crime Files TV family checking in from all over the world. Now, before we get to what happened in that upstairs bedroom, before we talk about shell casings, before we talk about blood evidence and 911 recordings, we need to go back, because this story doesn't start with a gun. It starts with a man who believed he was doing everything right. Marcus Hill was 52 years old, senior operations supervisor at a logistics company just outside downtown Columbus. 17 years on the job.
Promoted slowly. No shortcuts, no scandals. The kind of man who showed up early, stayed late, and never asked for recognition. His co-workers called him dependable. His boss called him irreplaceable. Marcus grew up on the south side of Columbus in public housing, raised by a single mother who worked double shifts at a nursing home. His father disappeared before Marcus turned 10. And that absence shaped everything about the man he became. Marcus learned early that if you wanted something in this life, you had to build it yourself. No rescue was coming. By his late 20s, he had a steady job. By his late 30s, he owned a modest 3-bedroom home. By his 40s, he had savings, good credit, and a reputation for being the man people could rely on when things fell apart. But success came at a cost. His first marriage ended quietly at 44. No explosive cheating scandal, no screaming matches in court, just emotional distance. His ex-wife told friends Marcus loved his job more than he loved his home, that he was married to responsibility, not romance. And maybe she wasn't wrong. After the divorce, Marcus buried himself even deeper in work. It was easier than sitting alone in a quiet house, easier than admitting he failed at the one thing he wanted most, keeping his family together. Then, in 2018, he met Alana.
Alana was 28 when she met Marcus. She worked in pharmaceutical sales. Polished, confident, energetic. She had just come out of a relationship with a man her own age who cheated on her, publicly and repeatedly. She told her friends she was done with immature men. When she met Marcus at a regional sales mixer, she saw something different. Stability, security, control. A man who had built a life already. And Marcus saw something he hadn't felt in years. Youth, energy, being chosen again. They were separated by 24 years. People noticed. Her friends whispered. His brother pulled him aside at a cookout and said, "Man, she's young enough to be your kid. You sure about this?" But Marcus didn't care. He had spent his whole life proving people wrong. This would be no different. They married in 2019. Small wedding, just family and close friends. Alana moved into Marcus's house and changed everything. New furniture, new colors, new energy. Marcus gave her whatever she wanted. Flowers every Friday, weekend dinners,
Jewelry on birthdays, trips when he could get time off. He was trying to prove that the age gap didn't matter. But beneath all that effort, there was fear. A quiet fear he never said out loud. How long before she realizes she settled? The decision that changed everything. In 2020, Alana brought up the idea of fostering. She said she wasn't sure she wanted to go through pregnancy. She talked about kids needing homes. She talked about purpose. Marcus hesitated. He was 49, tired, set in routines. But Alana pushed. She said it would bring them closer, give them something meaningful to build together. And so they went through the process. Training, home inspections, background checks. That's when they met Jordan. Jordan was 11 years old.
He had been in the foster system since he was 6. His file was thick. Behavioral issues, trust problems, anger outbursts, 4 failed placements. Too difficult, too damaged, too much work. That's what the report said. But when Marcus sat across from Jordan at the agency office, he didn't see a problem child. He saw himself, a kid who had been abandoned, a kid who expected to be discarded, a kid who already knew disappointment too well. Jordan didn't make eye contact, didn't smile, didn't speak unless spoken to. But his eyes were sharp, smart, guarded. Marcus recognized that look instantly. He'd worn it himself at that age. Alana was less certain. She was 30 now, still adjusting to being married, still figuring out who she wanted to be. Motherhood had always been theoretical. But she saw how much this meant to Marcus, so she agreed. And in late 2020, Jordan Hill moved into their home.
The first year was rough. Jordan pushed boundaries, ignored rules, skipped assignments, talked back. He stayed out late, tested curfew, dared them to give up on him like everyone else had. But Marcus didn't quit. He enforced rules, showed up to parent-teacher conferences, sat with Jordan at the kitchen table every night over homework, even when neither of them wanted to be there. Slowly, things changed. Jordan's grades improved. He joined the basketball team, started smiling, started laughing at Marcus's terrible jokes. By 2022, the adoption was finalized. Jordan was officially their son. He had his own bedroom, a closet full of new clothes, a father who showed up at every game, a mother who made breakfast every Sunday. From the outside,
they looked like a family that had beaten the odds. The neighbors saw them washing cars in the driveway, saw them leaving for church, saw Jordan growing taller each year. From a scared little boy into a confident teenager. And Marcus was proud. This was his redemption story. The shift. By 2023, Marcus was working more than ever. Promotions meant more responsibility, more stress, more hours. He left before sunrise and came home after dark. Some nights he fell asleep on the couch before dinner. Alana began spending long days alone in the house. Jordan had practice, friends, school. Marcus had work. The house grew quiet, too quiet. And loneliness is dangerous when it sits unanswered for too long. Jordan turned 17 in early 2023. He was nearly 6 feet tall now, athletic, confident. Girls were calling the house. He was staying out later. Marcus saw this as success. He believed he had raised Jordan properly. But Alana started noticing something else. The way Jordan lingered in rooms longer than he used to. the way he watched her quietly. And one night, something changed. Marcus had called and said he'd be late. Alana was in the kitchen cooking. Jordan came in from practice, sweaty, tired, opened the fridge, drank straight from the juice carton. "Use the cup," Alana said. Jordan laughed. Marcus does the same thing. Then Jordan lingered, leaned against the counter, quiet, watching her. "You okay?" she asked. He shrugged. "Just thinking." Then he said something that shifted the air in the room. "Sometimes I feel like Marcus doesn't realize how lucky he is." Alana stopped chopping. "What do you mean?" Jordan stepped closer. "He's never around. You're always here alone." The moment stretched too long, and neither of them said what they were thinking. But the line had been touched, and once a line is touched, it rarely stays untouched. That moment in the kitchen should have ended everything. One strange sentence, one uncomfortable pause, one look held too long. Alana should have shut it down right there. Jordan should have backed away. But neither of them did. Because once something is acknowledged, even in silence, it gains weight. In the weeks that followed, Alana started noticing things she shouldn't have been paying attention to. The way Jordan's shoulders had broadened under his hoodie. The way his voice had deepened. The way he remained in whatever room she was in just a little longer than necessary. And the worst part, she didn't hate the attention. After months of coming home to an empty house, after years of feeling like she came second to Marcus's job, being noticed felt intoxicating. Jordan graduated high school in May of 2023. Big ceremony, caps and gowns, camera flashes. Marcus took the entire day off work, sat front row, clapped the loudest. Afterward, they went to a restaurant downtown to celebrate. Marcus gave a toast, talked about how proud he was, about how far Jordan had come, about how adoption had changed their lives. Jordan thanked them both, said he wouldn't be here without them. A perfect family moment. And under the table, Jordan's foot brushed against Alana's ankle. Once, then again. Alana pulled her leg back quickly, heart racing, cheeks burning. She looked up to see if Marcus noticed. He was distracted, calling the waiter over. Jordan didn't look away from her. 2 months later, Jordan turned 18. He moved into a small apartment with a roommate across town. Started working part-time while taking classes at community college. He was supposed to be moving forward. Instead, he kept coming back. One Thursday afternoon, Jordan showed up unannounced. Marcus was at work. Alana was home alone. She opened the door wearing a robe. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Forgot my charger in my old room." She hesitated, then stepped aside. He passed close behind her, and she caught the faint scent of his cologne, the same brand Marcus used to wear years ago before life got too busy for details like that. Jordan went upstairs. Alana stayed at the bottom of the stairs. She should have stayed there. She didn't. She followed. They searched together in his old room, close quarters, brushing past each other. Then Jordan stopped, turned to face her. "Nia?" "My name is Alana," she corrected automatically, then realized the slip meant nothing. "That night in the kitchen," he said. "You remember?" Her throat went dry. "Jordan, you shouldn't—" "I know it's wrong," he said, "but I can't stop thinking about you." Her mind screamed at her to shut this down. Instead, she whispered, "You need to go." "Do you want me to?" That was the real question, wasn't it? And without answering it with words, she kissed him. 5 seconds. Then she pulled away like she'd been burned. I'm sorry, she said. You have to leave. He left. Alana collapsed onto the bed, shaking. She told herself it was over. A mistake. A moment of weakness. It would never happen again. But now, they both knew what was possible, and desire doesn't disappear once it's given permission to exist. 3 days later, Jordan texted, "Marcus still at work?" Alana stared at the screen. She typed, "Why?" Then another message came. "Can I come by? I need to talk." She knew exactly what he meant. She typed, "Okay." This time there was no charger excuse, no awkward pacing. Jordan kissed her the moment she opened the door. And this time, she didn't pull away. They went upstairs. Not his old room, not the master bedroom, the guest bedroom, as if that made it less wrong. They crossed every boundary they should never have touched. And once that line was crossed, it got easier each time. They developed a system. Jordan only came over when Marcus was working. He texted before arriving. Alana made sure no neighbors were outside. They started meeting in other rooms, the couch, the master bathroom, eventually, the marital bed. Marcus slept there every night, trusting, unaware. One afternoon in August, Alana's phone buzzed mid-encounter. Text from Marcus. "Left some papers at home. Running back. Be there in 10. Panic exploded instantly. Jordan scrambled to dress. "Out the back," Alana hissed. Jordan ran down the stairs barefoot, shoes in hand. The garage door opened as the back door clicked shut. Marcus walked into the kitchen to find Alana standing there, heart racing. "You look flushed," he said. "Hot. AC's acting up." He kissed her cheek, grabbed his papers, left within 3 minutes. Alana sat on the floor afterward, fighting nausea. That should have ended everything. It didn't. In September, Marcus attended a work conference. Jordan stayed over Friday night. Saturday morning, they were in the master bedroom when Alana heard a car door outside. She ran to the window. Marcus's car. Conference canceled. He was home. Jordan panicked. He hid in the closet for 2 hours while Marcus napped. Jordan snuck out during Marcus's shower. Alana stood shaking in the kitchen afterward, realizing just how close they came. But still, they didn't stop. It evolved beyond physical. They started planning a future, talking about leaving Ohio, starting new lives together once Jordan finished school. Alana would lie beside Marcus at night, texting Jordan about running away. The audacity, the cruelty. Marcus wasn't blind. He noticed the phone smiles, the sudden daytime showers, Jordan's visits that always ended before he arrived home. One morning, he saw a message on Alana's phone while she showered. "Miss you already." Miss you from when? Suspicion crawled in. He started watching, started tracking patterns. And then, in early October, he tested his suspicions. He told Alana he'd be working late, then came home early. Jordan's car was parked 2 houses down. Marcus walked inside quietly. Music upstairs. Voices. Laughing. He reached the guest bedroom, pushed the door open, and saw everything. Alana. Jordan. Together. Marcus didn't even raise his voice. "Get off him." They separated in shock. Alana crying. Jordan scrambling. "How long?" Marcus asked. "A few months," Alana whispered. Marcus ordered them both out. Jordan left first. Alana followed. Marcus remained alone in the house, drinking in the silence. And for 2 weeks, he unraveled.
Marcus Hill did not sleep that night, or the next, or the one after that. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same image on repeat. Alana on top of Jordan. Jordan's hands on her waist, their bodies moving together in the guest room of his home. The house felt contaminated. Every room held evidence of a lie he had been living inside for months without knowing it. For the next 2 weeks, Marcus barely functioned. He stopped showing up to work, stopped answering his phone, stopped eating. His brother came by one evening and found him sitting in the dark with an untouched plate of food on the table. "You need help," his brother said. "You need to talk to somebody." Marcus didn't want therapy. He wanted answers. He wanted to know how long he had been a fool in his own house. So he started searching. Alana had left in a hurry. She had left behind receipts. Marcus logged into their shared phone account, scrolled. And that's when the real truth hit. The affair hadn't started a few months ago. It had started nearly a year earlier. Text messages on random Tuesdays, hotel receipts from nights Marcus was on work trips, photos they had taken together, not explicit, but intimate. Her head on Jordan's chest, his arm around her waist in hotel beds. They had built a relationship behind his back. They had mocked him in private. One message from Jordan read, "Had breakfast with Marcus this morning. Had to sit there listening to him talk about you like he actually knows you. It's pathetic." Alana had replied, "Not much longer. Then we won't have to pretend anymore." Marcus dropped the phone. Something inside him shattered completely. October 17th, 2023. Marcus was at work when his phone vibrated. A doorbell camera alert. Jordan's car was in the driveway. Marcus stared at the screen. Jordan walked up to the front door like he still belonged there. The disrespect ignited fresh rage. Marcus didn't tell his boss he was leaving. He didn't clock out. He grabbed his keys and drove home. 12 minutes. The longest 12 minutes of his life. When he pulled into the driveway, Jordan's car was still there. Marcus sat in the car for a quiet moment, breathing. Then he stepped inside. The house was quiet, too quiet. Then he heard footsteps upstairs, from the master bedroom, his bedroom. Marcus climbed the stairs slowly, reached the doorway. Jordan was inside, going through Alana's side of the closet, touching her clothes. "What are you doing in my room?" Marcus asked. Jordan spun around. "She asked me to grab some of her stuff. She doesn't live here anymore." Jordan's face hardened. "I'll be out in a minute. You should have left weeks ago. You don't get to tell me what to do anymore." That was when Jordan crossed the final, fatal line. "You were never enough for her." Marcus felt punched in the chest. "You worked all those hours and thought you were being a good husband. You weren't present. She felt alone, so she came to me." "Get out," Marcus whispered. "She never really loved you," Jordan continued. "She just wanted security, and you were too desperate to see it." Marcus turned to the nightstand, opened the drawer. The gun was there, loaded. Jordan saw it and froze. "Marcus, wait." Marcus raised the gun. "You destroyed my family." The first shot hit Jordan in the shoulder. He spun and fell. The second shot came faster,
Then the third. Jordan tried crawling, begging, but rage had fully possessed Marcus.
By the 9th shot, Jordan was no longer moving. By the 12th, silence filled the room. Jordan Hill was dead at 20 years old. Marcus stood there shaking. Then he walked downstairs, sat on the couch, and dialed 911. "I just shot my son." Police arrived 6 minutes later. Marcus did not resist. Marcus was charged with first-degree murder. Prosecutors said he had 2 weeks to cool down. He saw Jordan's car. He went home armed. That meant intent. The defense argued crime of passion. Yes, time had passed, but finding Jordan again in the marital bedroom, touching Alana's belongings, insulting Marcus's manhood, that was fresh provocation. The jury deliberated for 8 hours.
They returned with second-degree murder. Marcus was sentenced to 25 years in prison, eligible for parole after 15. He showed no emotion. Alana testified. She cried. She claimed she never meant for anyone to get hurt. Within weeks, she vanished, changed her name, moved out of state, left behind 3 destroyed lives. Marcus Hill lost his wife, his son, his freedom, his identity. Jordan Hill lost his future, his chance at redemption, his life. Alana Hill lost her family, her reputation, her past.
There were no winners, only consequences. If this story shook you the way it shook me, like this video, subscribe to True Crime Files TV, share this story with friends and family, and comment your perspective or the key lesson you took from this case. Because every choice has a cost, and some payments are collected in blood.